Hey, welcome to our family meeting, spring 2019.
Woo woo!
Welcome.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And we wanted to give you an update on where we are as a church, what God's been doing in our church and through our church, and yeah, just give you a picture of all that. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to tell you right up front what to expect from our time today. So check this out. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to take some time to celebrate what God is doing in our church. Secondly, we're going to give you a financial update, and then we're going to make a big financial ask. And then finally, we're going to invite you to be rooted with our church here at One Life. All right? So that's where we're headed. That's what we're going to do today. So the first thing we're going to do.
Let's celebrate.
Yeah, we have a lot to celebrate, right?
Let's take a look. So give us some ideas here. We started construction on the collective, but tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we started right after Christmas, before the new year, and they gutted the building right next door to us. And then we started, the general contractor came in, we had architectural designs, engineering designs, and now we're at the stage where the drywall is in. They've been mudding the drywall, and that should be finished this week. And we're hoping to be all in, moved in by May the 1st. So really exciting, really exciting.
Cool. All right, how about these 10 active huddles?
10 active huddles.
Yeah.
So we have this thing at our church called discipleship huddles. And these are times where 3 to 10 people get together. There's a huddle leader. You lead a huddle.
I do.
I lead a huddle,
Yep.
right? And so a huddle leader will get 3 to 10 people together, and we're teaching each other and practicing together how to hear the voice of Jesus, how to hear his voice and how to respond, to live in obedience to what he's calling us to. And this is what it means to be a disciple. And we take this very seriously at One Life, is to make disciples that are making disciples. So we have 10 of these huddles that are happening right now. And we also have 3 that are in the bullpen, that are warming up, being trained. And
it's like a baseball term that we turned into a church term.
Yes, exactly. So we have 3 that are going to be starting very, very soon. Yep.
All right, and we provided Christmas for 3 families.
Yeah.
Tell us about Tina Taylor and what's going on there.
Well, what is there to tell you about Tina Taylor? Tina is awesome. This is our 3rd year as a church to do this. And every year we've added a new family. And this year we provided not only gifts for mom, dad, kids, but also a full Christmas meal. And you guys killed it. And this is just a sign of our church being generous, the sacrificial, radical generosity, the excessive generosity of our church. It was so fun to watch. So.
That's amazing. All right, we had 16 people attend our last orientation shindig.
Yeah, I think that's the largest orientation shindig since I've been here in the past 3 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah,
That's a lot of people.
It was.
And our shindig is really like the on-ramp to become a part of our church family.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a membership class, a membership 101 class. We talk about our vision, we talk about our DNA, we talk about our beliefs, and so it was so much fun. We had families, we had new married couples, we had singles, and so just a wide group of people. And then off of that, we just, since the beginning of the year, have introduced 7 new families to our church. And those people have gone through an orientation shindig and said they want to be a part of the One Life family. So really cool things. Great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's next?
Let's go ahead and talk about Rooted a little bit.
Yeah.
Remind us about this.
Yeah. So we're celebrating this. In 2018, God gave us this vision. I can remember us wrestling over this and discerning if this was God or if this was just an idea we had. And we had it confirmed over and over and over again that this is the vision that God had given our church. And that was, God had called us to establish a permanent presence in the city of Concord that would lead to eternal influence. He wanted us to call this place home. He wanted us to call the people of Concord our people. And so we started moving in that direction, one foot in front of the other, and we ended up purchasing this property so we would be here permanently. We would be in Concord permanently. And so we celebrate any time that God gives us vision, that God gives us direction, that he says, this is where I'm calling you. So this is the vision, the rooted vision that he's given us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you've probably heard us say the words, the collective, a handful of times. We want to take just a moment to explain, in case you missed it or we didn't explain it clear enough, what's the collective, what's the vision for it, and what's happening in the other building that's next to us.
Yeah, so this is a part of the rooted vision. So The rooted vision is to have a permanent presence in the city of Concord. And so as we started to flesh that out and try to figure out what that meant, one of the dreams that God gave us was to start a nonprofit co-work space where we would renovate the building next to us. We would put offices in it. We would find nonprofits that we were like-minded with, invite them to work in that space so that we could be on the same team as we are reaching the city of Concord, as we are changing the city of Concord, as we are shaping the future of the city of Concord. And so over the past year, as we've dreamed through this, we called it the Collective. It's a collective of people, a group of people working in the same direction. So the vision is, through the Collective, One Life Church will bless, empower, and partner with like-minded organizations that have a dream to shape the surrounding area through the way of Jesus. And man, we are so excited about this. This is our outreach plan. When people ask me, what's your church growth plan? This is it. This is the way that we are going to reach Concord. This is the way we are going to shape Concord. It's not just about our church. We are kingdom-minded, and we are partnering with other organizations that are also kingdom-minded to change people's lives, to be a place of hope and love, to be a place where people can find healing, emotional, spiritual healing. And so the Collective is that place, and that's why we're renovating the building next to us. And another thing we want to tell you today is we have all of these partners. These are the nonprofits that are going to be in our building, in the Collective. These are the people on the ground. And so let us tell you a little bit about them. Amazing Grace Advocacy is an organization led by Gwen Bartley, who is a part of our church. And they do amazing work with families who have children up to age 21 with mental illness, brain disorders. So they're doing that work in our area and all over the state of North Carolina as well.
Right.
Endless Opportunities is one of our good friends, LaShonda, who works with young moms and single mothers and resources them and helps them put one foot in front of the other. And they're doing amazing work right here in our backyard. Equal Rights Institute is an organization one of our friends leads, Josh Brom, and that is an organization that helps educate people on pro-life and pro-life initiatives, and they do it in a really healthy way, and it's fun to hear about the way that they're not only impacting our community, but also the entire nation. Rocky River Counseling is our friend Nathan Evans. He started a counseling service and that's been actually working out of our building here for the past year, and he will still be housed with the Collective. And then Tiffany Cochran Counseling is a new friend of ours that we met through Nathan, and so she's going to be the female side of the counseling that we're going to offer to the city of Concord and the surrounding area. And so these are the original Collective partners, and these people are they are shaping our community. They are shaping the future of our community, and we have an incredible opportunity to partner with them. And they're paying for rent, they're paying for an office space, but we're giving them inexpensive, affordable rent so that we don't strap them and keep them from doing what God has called them to do. And it's going to be a great partnership, and we're so excited. The leases are signed. They're ready to move in as soon as the building is done. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for sharing about these partners. It's really good to see like where boots are on the ground and like what the vision being fleshed out in that building next door. Let's move into a financial update because we said we were going to have one during this family meeting. And so why don't you give us an idea of where we are with our monthly ministry budget?
Yeah. So we just want to give you a picture. We want to be open and honest when it comes to our finances. We always want to put it out in front of you because we're in this together. It's not just you as people of the church, but us as a staff. We are partners of this church. We're financial partners. Our elders are financial partners. And so we always want to be open-handed with our finances, and we want to be an open book. So here's where we are. Our budget right now is $26,500, all right? That's everything. That's salaries. That is all the things that keeps the lights on. That's our mortgage. That is ministry budgets. That's the missions that we support. So that is everything, $26,500. And this is our 3-month average. So over the past 3 months, we have been bringing in about $24,000. All right. And so as you can see, there is a gap there. There is a gap. And that gap is about $2,500. On any given month, it can swing anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000.
Okay.
And so there is a gap there. And that can make us nervous,
Yeah,
or it can present an opportunity, all right? And so that's what I want to say today is that this gap, we're not afraid of this, but it presents an unbelievable opportunity for those of you that are new here, that you're just now getting to be a part of One Life, and you're getting used to this place, and you're trying to move in and be a part of the family. We want to invite you to do that. So let's go to that next slide. It says, will you become a monthly financial partner? We said we were going to make a big ask.
Yeah.
We have a gap, and the gap is about $2,500 to $3,000 a month. The only way that we fill that gap is through you, is if you answer yes to this question. Will you become a monthly financial partner? We want to invite you to move from sitting on the sidelines to sitting in the stands to walking into the game and getting on the field and saying, I'm a part of this thing. I am a partner in this place. That can be scary.
Yeah.
That can be scary. Some of us, we've had some not so great experiences when it comes to money in the church. We understand that. But we're inviting you to trust us and to trust this church. And we're doing so being open-handed as an open book. And we're asking you to be a financial partner. So here's how you can do it. This is how you can get started right now as you watch this video. You can text the words financial partner, all right, to 980-999-1330. That text message is going to go directly to Daniel and I, all right? It's going to go directly to us. We're going to get that text message. We're going to text you back, and then we're going to start walking you through this process. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. Once we have your number and you ask to be a part of it, I'll just need, or will need, your first name and last name and then an email address. I'll then go onto our, what we call One Life Hub, or you might have heard it called CCB. We'll create an account for you. And then you'll also get a video link to show you how, once you're logged into this, onelifehub.com, how you can really easily set up reoccurring or one-time gifts right there within it. It's really safe, it's super secure. Hundreds of churches across America use this same service, and that's one of the reasons we chose to use it.
Yeah.
It's what my wife and I use to do our reoccurring giving for our church.
Yeah. It's what Nicole and I use as well, and I love it. I love it. I can go in and I can see the record of our gifts. At the end of the year, that's where I can print off my tax statements. So everything is right there, and it's easy. And if you ever have an issue, or if I ever have an issue, I come straight to you.
Yeah, you just ask me.
Yeah, so. And you can help us with it. And so if you want to get started today, you want to become a financial partner, and you want to fill that gap that we have, just text financial partner to 980-999-1330. And Daniel and I will get that text message, and we'll reach back out to you, and we'll help you take the next step. All right. Now, the next financial update that we want to give you is about the Rooted campaign. And you've probably heard about the Rooted campaign. We started it in 2018. We raised $80,000 for our down payment for this building.
Yeah.
God provided in huge ways, amazing, amazing ways. And we are about to cross the finish line when it comes to the collective. I mean, we are so close. We are so close. And in order to cross that finish line and open the doors of the collective, in order to open this unbelievable opportunity to reach our community, then we have a goal. We have an anniversary goal. This is our 1-year Rooted anniversary. And our goal is to raise an additional $25,000. And this $25,000 is going to help us cross the finish line and open the collective. It's going to put a new fence out here in our parking lot because the old one just looks terrible and we need to replace that. It's going to go for AV, so sound for the collective and for the new elementary room.
Right.
That's where all of our elementary kids are going to be located, so a new sound system for them, a new check-in system for our kids, for our elementary kids, but also for all of our kids will be checking in through this new system. to furnish the lobby, which will also be a place for our adult ministries to use, our men's ministry, our ladies' life ministry. Huddles will be using that lobby, and so we want to outfit it so that every ministry can use it. And then our kids' life space here in the main building is going to get an upfit and be refurbished. And so all of that together is a total of $25,000. And that $25,000, man, it gets us over the finish line. And so on March the 31st, we are having a Rooted Commitment Sunday. It's an anniversary commitment Sunday. And all of us, we are asking every single one of us to prayerfully consider, what can we do to help us get to that $25,000? If it's $1, awesome, then be faithful. If it's $24,000, then awesome, be faithful.
Yeah.
Be faithful. So what we're asking you is to pray about it. To pray. I mean, we're being serious. Pray. Ask the Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, what do you want me and my family to do? What part can we play in making sure that we get to that $25,000? And then as you hear the voice of God, then respond. Then respond. And so we're all doing that. March the 31st is Commitment Sunday. So those are our two big asks for you.
Yeah.
How can you become a monthly financial partner? If you have not become a monthly financial partner, will you? Will you help fill that gap? And then on March 31st, what part can you play so that we can reach that $25,000? Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that's good. Thanks for being so clear. Thanks for the information that you were able to share.
Yeah.
And let's talk about how we can, from this, start to become rooted. We talked about maybe you giving us a tool or inviting us into becoming rooted in our church family.
Yeah.
Can you work us through that?
Yeah, so the vision of Rooted is not just about being rooted in the city of Concord. It's not just about being rooted in mission and going out to our community, but being rooted in our church, And so we want to give you this tool to really just ask yourself, where are you at? Where are you at? What's your relationship with our church look like? And for all of us, it can look different. It's going to look different for every one of us. This is just a tool for us to say, how can I be more rooted in One Life Church? All right. So what we're going to look at is when you are rooted in a church, you have relationships and you have responsibility. All right. That's the fact with every community, with every culture, with every ecosystem. If you are rooted in a community, you're rooted in a family, you have relationships, and you have responsibility or lack thereof.
Right.
You can have low relationships and high responsibility. You can have low responsibility and high relationships. And we wanted to show you what it looks like when these things are at play. So let's start down here in the bottom right-hand side. What happens when we have high responsibility and low relationships? We have burnout. We have burnout. This is, you're always working.
Yeah.
You're hustling. You're grinding. You're clawing all the time. You feel like you're carrying the burden.
Right.
You feel like you're carrying the load all of the time. Now, we want to say this out loud. There are some of you in our church, you have been carrying the load for a long time. The Hodges family, you guys have been carrying the load for a long time. And it can feel like if you're not connected in relationships and you're just carrying and carrying and carrying, you can get to this place, and we use the language burnout. And it's hard for us to even articulate what we're feeling, but that's what we want to call it, is it's a place of, man, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I can do this anymore. It's just, you're asking more and more of me. And so we want to say that out loud. When it comes to these financial updates, when it comes to us talking about what's next for our church, if you're feeling this, please say it out loud. Let's have a conversation about this. Because this is not the sweet spot. This is not what it looks like to be rooted. This is not what it looks like. And we want to help you take steps so that you move from here into what God has for you. All right?
That's good.
So let's talk about the upper right-hand quadrant. And that's high relationships and low responsibility. And we're going to call that the hangout culture. Hangout culture. Listen, we see this in the church world all the time. One of two of these. There's a lot of burnout. There's also a lot of hanging out, where you're just coming and you're sitting in a seat and you know some people, you shake some hands, you give hugs, and you have some decent relationships, probably pretty surface, but you're not carrying any of the load. You're not carrying any of the burden. You're not getting in the kitchen. You're sitting in at the kitchen table expecting somebody else to bring the food out. But you're not getting in there, and you're not getting your hands dirty, and you're not pulling some of the weight. And this is also not the way of Jesus.
Gotcha.
This is not what it looks like to be rooted in your church family. It's okay from time to time.
Right.
It's okay for a season. We're not saying it's all bad. We're just saying it's just not the best. Mm-hmm. And we want to help you take some steps. We want to look at this bottom left-hand quadrant. And that's low responsibility and low relationships. And that's the checkout quadrant. That's the place where you might use the language of, I just feel disconnected. I don't feel like I have anything to do here. What's my purpose here? And all of a sudden you come one Sunday and then you miss a couple Sundays and then you come back and then you miss 4 Sundays. And all of a sudden you're just like, you know what? I'm just done. Mm-hmm. And you check out. And we've seen this in the church. We've mm-hmm. seen this in our church. We've seen this in the church in America. And this is a place of isolation. A place of isolation. Right. And all of a sudden the lies of I don't belong here and I don't have it, there's no reason for me to be here, they start to play faster and faster and faster until I just completely check out and I leave the stage and I'm like, I don't really have a place here. All right? Wow. Now let me show you what it looks like to be rooted. All right? What it means to be rooted is to have high relationships and to have high responsibility. High relationships and high responsibility. To have a place that you belong, but also to have a place where you have purpose. To have a place where you have covenant relationships, that you are helping me and I am helping you. Okay. We're carrying each other's burdens, but also where we have some work to get done. Uh-huh. We have some work to get done. This is the way of Jesus. This is the way of Jesus. We read it in John chapter 15 when he talks about abide in me and you will bear fruit. Yeah. Right? And so this is what it looks like to be rooted with your church family. This is what we want to invite you to. As we cast the vision for the Rooted campaign, as we talk about financial updates, as we talk about what God is doing in our church, we want to invite you here. Go from this burnout place and invest into relationships. Mm-hmm. If you're in the Hangout, it's time for you to take on some responsibility and carry some of the load. If you're down here and you're feeling isolated, lean in, seek out relationships, be honest about those feelings, and also say, where can I serve? Where can I invest? How can I partner with this church? All right?
Wow, that's great.
Now, I think we're going to talk about how can you be rooted.
Yeah, some opportunities for being rooted. Yeah, that'd be great to hear.
Some opportunities. Here's some opportunities for you to be rooted, both relationally and responsibility. Ministry teams. We have great ministry teams here at One Life. Worship and production. You can serve what happens in this room on a Sunday morning.
Yep. Our Kids Life ministry.
Kids Life.
Which serves like 30 to 50 kids on any given Sunday.
Every Sunday. And they're not childcare. It's not just childcare. They're discipling our children. Host ministry. Yeah. Serving with Amy and Ladies Life. Serving in our men's ministry. Doing outreach with some of our life groups. So there are places for you to serve. Student life, serving the next generation of leaders. Mm-hmm. So there are ministry teams that you can serve on. Financial partnership, we've talked about that. Right. That's responsibility. Responsibility. It's not just 1 or 2 people paying the bills. Mm-hmm. It's all of us together. And so in order for me to be rooted with my church family, in order for me to be rooted in this place, then I need to be a partner. I need to invest into this place and the future of this place. Life groups. Life groups is a place where we're learning to be family because that's hard. Yeah. It's hard. And we've dropped the ball as a culture. You know, we pull into our driveway, we go into our house, and we just do our life right there between those walls. But life groups is teaching us how to be family with people that aren't like us, may not believe like us, may not look like us. And so we need to learn how to be family. So jumping into a life group and having those relationships. And then huddles, discipleship huddles, is a place where you can build relationships, but you're also being trained to go out and take on responsibility and hear the calling that God has for you. Now, if you want to take advantage of one of these, we're not saying you got to do all four. We're
Right.
not saying that, hey, when you get all four, you're hitting a home run. All right? There are going to be times in your life, seasons, where you're doing 2, where you're doing 1, where you're doing 3. We're just saying, look, ask God. Ask Him how He wants you to be rooted in your church. Yeah. So if you're ready to be rooted at One Life Church, all you have to do is text One Life to 41411, and one of the links will say, take a next step. Take the next step, and click that, and you can click some other things. Those emails come directly to us, and we can know how to help you take those next steps.
Yeah.
Don't be in a hangout culture. Don't be in a burnout culture. Don't check out. Lean in. Lean into responsibility. Lean into relationships, and watch what God can do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're almost done with our family meeting for this evening or this morning, whenever you're watching this, you know, which is great. Why don't you send us out with some scripture and some good news for our church family?
Yeah, man. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20 is really the theme of the Rooted campaign, the Rooted vision. Paul writes this. It's a prayer, and he says, "Now to Him, God, who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us." He is able. God is able. We didn't want to present a picture of saying, how do we claw to get to this? How do we hustle to get to this? How do we carry the burden? Paul says He is able. He is able to do more than we can ask, which we've prayed about this. Yeah. We're asking God to do a lot. But not only what we can ask, He doesn't only answer our prayers, but it says even imagine. More than we can even think of, more than we can even dream of. We haven't even dreamed of some things that God is already doing and God is going to provide for. And so He is able to do more than we could ever ask or imagine. And how's He going to do that? He's going to do it by His power that is in you, that is in me. And so we are His conduits. We are the conduit that He works through to bring about these visions and these dreams that He has for us. And so, church, listen, we are not going to use guilt. We're not going to use shame. We're not going to manipulate. This is the vision that God has given us, and we are believing as a leadership of this church that God is able to do more than we've ever asked Him and more than we can ever dream, imagine, or even see in the future. And the way He does that is through you and I. And we want to invite you to be a part of that, to be rooted in that vision. All right? And so we invite you to do that. We hope that this was helpful and that it will help you take the next steps as a family. And if you have any questions, please let us know. I think you can email us, info@onelifechurch.tv. You can text us, and we would love to help you take some next steps.
Thanks so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for being a part of our family meeting. Have a great week when you see this, and we'll see you soon, right?
All right. Thanks.